So, the worst thing in the world happened to me today. I'm scrolling through my feed, being nosy. And I'm almost 40, okay? Thank you. But I'm almost 40, and there's some little boys that I used to like teach dance and like be like a little mentor, and we had our little step team or whatever, and I was like 15 and they were like children. Now they're mans. And so I don't really do, big children and stuff, but I'd be checking their page like, what they doing? So I'm checking one of the little boys. He's got long dreads and he always be looking good and he was smart. And I was like, oh, what he up to? And in his post, he was like, last month I was diagnosed with cancer. I have a large nodule in I think he said his thymus gland, I think. And a nodule on my lung now. And I was like, make it stop, Jesus. It's not funny, but I don't want to see that. And I can't even explain to you. It's the most horrific thing. Like, he was like 6 when I was 15. So this is roughly a 10-year difference. This is like after I got pregnant, I was watching this young man and he's graduating from high school and he's got scholarships and he's an intelligent young man. And I can't tell you the feeling of what it feels like to see a young man that has potential to be ravaged by cancer. Now, I'm sure there are many people who understand what's happening. And I don't know if as many people know about the effects of marijuana with cancer. Too many times I have encountered people who do not want to deal with marijuana because of the things that society has told them about it. There's many books. You can read up on it if you choose to. Look up on Audible if you don't actually want to read. But it's so hard because I don't even know if I'm actually legally allowed to talk about it. It's just really sad because there's studies being done now and everybody says, oh, but it could not affect cancer, and it's like, well, the average percentage for conversion, I guess you would call it conversion percentage for chemo is 30%. If we practice medicine like that, you wouldn't be getting any medicine. If we only gave you things that worked 100% of the time, I don't think you would get anything. We don't have anything in our magical store of medicine that works 100% of the time. I mean, those are some of the things, you want something that works 50% of the time? Ask your doctor how much stuff actually works 50% of the time. How many surgeries would you like to know work less than 50% of the time, but they still handing them out like candies? Now, I don't have a problem with it because basically what we have said is that if it works more than 30 or 40% of the time, then it's worth taking the risk of the side effects so that you could live. I just don't understand why that is not passed along to marijuana. And I don't understand why we're not allowed to talk about it. I wanted to start my own marijuana company. And I wanted to sell marijuana teas and stuff like that. And as a nurse, I have access. A lot of hospitals give staff access to medical research, like the most recent journals, because they expect us to be practicing based on evidence-based practice. So that means there has to be a study done that backs up what we're doing. So because we have to have these studies, we have access to, these national banks of all these scientific studies that have been done. And I just decided one day to put marijuana into the search tab and see what studies I get. And I don't know if people know there's a lot of studies now. I have to start talking about this stuff, but I don't necessarily have to talk about this. You can look up Dr. Sebi. You can look up marijuana studies. You can Google it yourself. You don't need me. I just want people to be open to it. Oh, well, marijuana can get you high. If you take a handful of Benadryl, it will get you high. And not a good high. Not a marijuana high. I'm talking about terrible, horrific, spiders on the wall type high. Morphine is only one or two a little like if you like organic chemistry and you look at the little things or whatever, it's only one or two molecules different away from heroin. So you're talking about something that's like heroin's cousin, but you don't want marijuana because it'll make you high, but heroin, okay. And then oxys, Norcos, Vicodin, Percocet, those are all relatives. They're all coming from the same similar plant. Oh, and let's get even deeper. Opium comes from the Middle East. Look it up, Google it. It's a lot of terrorist organizations that have opium fields. I mean, is that really, you understand what I'm saying? So Donald Trump or people in this time period, this legislation, they have legalized hemp. So that means that marijuana is going to be growing inside of America, benefiting American farmers, whereas this other stuff, opium, which means opiates, narcotics, that is feeding another beast in the Middle East that's currently looking at bombing us as like one of their best uses of their time. I mean, is any of this connecting? You could support American farmers, or you can support Middle Eastern terrorist farmers who would rather see you dead. You can use marijuana, which has anti-tumor effects, or you can use heroin cousins, heroin family members, and get a heroin high. What else can you say? What else can you say about it? I've thought about taking the class, but to be honest, a lot of doctors, not nurses, but a lot of doctors that talk about health stuff, natural remedies and stuff, they're dead. I don't know if y'all know that. There was one period during, I told a doctor that she didn't even believe me. There was one period where 6 naturopath doctors, that means doctors with their MD, because people be like, well, how come regular doctors don't support those things? Well, one, a lot of them don't know about it, and then some that do have their MD, went to medical school, and then said, I'm interested in learning about this. They go back to school to get their naturopath, certification or license, and then they start practicing that stuff. They end up dead. Let's talk about it, or let's not talk about it. Because Dr. Sebi, he wasn't a real doctor, but he ain't alive, is he? Oh, I guess I'm getting a little too conspiracy theory for you today. But that's another reason why I originally wanted to have like a herbal shop where I was like giving people, like, oh, you should drink this, elderberry, this and that, and people could come in. And then I was like, oh, they actually have a nursing certification so that you can legally give people advice. So like, I'm telling you the stuff, it's my opinion, but I have to kind of keep it brief because it's illegal for me to tell you that marijuana can help you or how it helps you. It's illegal. I'm not telling, this is an opinion piece. I'm not recommending anything because I don't want to go to jail. But the reality is, I don't even know where I was going with that, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm so forgetful. I don't use marijuana. I just want to put that out there because I'm sure people are like, oh, she just want to get high. My job, random tests every month. And you can get tested consecutively. So I don't use marijuana. But let me put it out there that the studies that show that marijuana is anti-cancer is building up. There's being studies after studies. They're being done in Israel. They're being done in California. They're being done in Denver, Colorado. There are studies being done by doctors, by PhDs that are showing the anti-cancer effects. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lawsuit coming up pretty soon. Because how can you tell people that they can't take something that's anti-cancer when your job exposes us to radiation and it's legal? CBD is legal. I'm not using marijuana, but I know for sure I don't have cancer right now. But if cancer comes up into this little body and somebody is telling me that I can't use marijuana, there's going to be a lawsuit. That's not a threat. It's just common sense. It's just common sense because the studies are here now. When they passed these policies saying that we had to get urine tested, the studies weren't there. So there was no reason to say why we should or shouldn't use marijuana. But now that the studies are here and they are proven to be sound, if I get any sort of cancer and then you're preventing me from using something that I legally should be able to use that will help me to be well, there will be a lawsuit. You will be paying for every aspect of my life and I probably won't be having to work anymore. That's neither here nor there. I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, sometimes these jobs, they be getting crazy. But anyways, my point is, I just think that people, like, I don't really know how to make this any more clear. I probably can't because I'm very confused and I'm talking a lot and I'm forgetful because it's like in the middle of the night and I just saw this and it was kind of overwhelming. But I just kind of want to say to people out there, like, this doesn't have to be. Now, I'm not saying just go out, get high every day and you're not going to have cancer. That's not how marijuana is going to work. There's other things to it. There are doctors who are certified in this. There are nurses who are certified in this. Those are the people, the medical professionals that you need to seek out if you feel like you need to head down this road. You know, it's $1,000 for the certification if I want to take it to become a certified marijuana nurse. $1,000. Those things, in addition, and it's not saying that the surgeries and the chemos and stuff don't work. The percentages that I said are the percentages. You can look them up. Most chemos are around 30%. I don't know the percentages of the surgeries. I would put the surgeries at a higher percentage. But the chemo, that's what chemo is. It's at around 30%. So, you know, I would do it. I would listen to your doctor. I'm not saying don't listen to your doctor, go off, live in the forest, kill yourself. And I'm not saying that that's impossible. It's just that's not what I'm saying because that's not legal to say. So I can't say it. And I'm not saying it. Let's be clear. But what I'm saying is that in conjunction with what you are currently doing, you do not have to be beholden to these things. But it's just not just marijuana and go get high every day. You know, you have to ingest it in certain ways. Smoking it is not going to be the best. Inhalation, I get it. Inhalation, yes, it's the best. But if you have a lung cancer, you do not need to be putting a joint up to your mouth. Maybe you can, like, some people are like, they do like a tent, right? They sit in a tent and then they light it like incense in the tent and they smoke up the tent. The important part is that those scalding hot embers are not getting into your lungs. The problem with inhalation of marijuana is the scalding hot embers. Those, it's like 500, it might even be more, like degrees. Those embers are in that joint when you are sucking it in. So if there's not like a good filter or something like that, it's going right into your lungs and it's burning your lungs. That can cause tumors alone. So that's not the best way. You know, vape pens we know are not great. There's a few companies, only one actually that I know of, but there's a few companies I believe that are offering decent vape pens. A lot of these companies are not offering good vape pens. Some vape pens actually have fiberglass in them. Yeah, so that means that you're sucking fiberglass and it's not scalding hot, but it's still hotter than like room temperature. It's still hot. So you're sucking hot, fiery fiberglass pieces into your lungs. I'm sure you could understand why that is not good for you. So vape pens are actually really bad for your lungs. Like I said, if you want to like, put it as like an incense and then put yourself in like a tent kind of thing, so that way you're inhaling the smoke. You can still get it. You can still get it as an edible, which people, they say it's less like available for your body to absorb. But I mean, if you have lung cancer, then you have to find a different way. If you have like a different cancer, like a stomach cancer or something like that, you probably could be a little more loose with inhalation of the smoke, but you still need to try to figure out a way to reduce the scalding hot embers that are getting into your body in that method. And so you also have to change your diet. You have to change your diet. Dr. Sebi talks about that. A lot of people are out here talking about that, about how the American diet is what leads to sickness. It's not really, everybody's getting cancer. How is this happening? But yet we're all eating like McDonald's and stuff with like 30 grams of sugar in it and like 50, 70, 100 grams of protein a day. And we're eating these terribly unnatural, horrible diets, and then wondering why we have teratogenic things floating around like new cancer cells. Like, oh, how? Because you're consuming trash every day. So like I said, you have to change your diet. Marijuana, from what I've heard, it does have anti-cancer effects, but it's not going to be as effective if you don't change your diet. So that's why you might see people who maybe smoke weed often and still are kind of sick, their diets. But anyway, so I mean, I'm getting kind of long-winded. If you want to see another video about this, let me know. You can post any questions that you have. I'm willing to share the information I have, even though it might be illegal. It might get my channel deleted. Please don't delete my channel. This is all for educational purposes, and I am not giving any medical advice. I just want to be able to tell you about things that might harm you. A bad diet might harm you. Using a vape pen might harm you. Smoking marijuana out of a joint, just like with no filter, just like sucking that into your bronchioles, might harm you. And I think it's fair for me to share that information, because I don't think that people know about that. So don't delete my channel. I love my channel. But anyways, I just had some coffee, so that's why I'm excited. But I kind of it's just sad, and it just doesn't have to be. Like, we as a community, we can fight this. We can demand that things are different. Like, I was thinking about opening up my marijuana company, and I was so happy, and I was like, I put a lot of money into it, and I was like, yeah, And then I read, because I wanted to make sure that I was very familiar with the law, and then I read the law that says that I would be prohibited from teaching anybody or providing any teachings related to marijuana, because only a dispensary could do that. And to do that would be illegal. And that was the main thing that kind of killed my desire, because the whole purpose of me getting into the marijuana industry, I know it's trending, CBD is trending and stuff, but the reason why I jumped on that bandwagon is because I had access to the studies. Years ago, I was working in California in 2015 when it became legal, and I looked at the studies, and they were working, and I was like, wow, what if people knew about this? So then this time when I decided to start the company, I was on every day printing out studies. Oh yeah, stomach cancer. Oh yeah, this kind of cancer. Oh, what was the date? 2018? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I was going crazy. I was like, oh, who did this study? Oh, University of Colorado? Boom. Oh, UCLA? Oh, even better. Oh my God, it was done in 2018 to 2017. Give me that, give me that, give me that. And I literally made this book of medical studies that I wanted to provide in I was going to have a little booth. This was my plan, a little booth with marijuana. And then I was going to have this book there. And that way people, if they had any questions, if they're concerned because they're sick, because they have a cancer, a uterine cancer, any kind of cancer, I could say, oh, turn to page 21. Oh, turn to this page, and I was so excited. And then I read that, and I was like, phew. I had bought the business license. I had bought all of the receptacles with it. Like, I had started buying actual marijuana. So I had trim, I had flour, I had products. I even bought some herbs from Israel, so that way I could like from like Israel, like people handpicked it from the Gaza Strip or the West Bank or whatever the guy told me. Like I went to Israel and bought it there, and, you know, and I was like, I'm gonna give people this top quality CBDT, you know, and I'm gonna give people the studies that they need to kind of help them with their sickness and show them like there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like it's not just these $100,000 surgeries and $200,000 chemos. Like there's a way out at the end of this tunnel, and it doesn't have to cost you your arm and your leg. Like it doesn't have to cost you a Benz. It doesn't have to cost you a Ferrari in order for you to get healing. There's so many doctors and PhDs and scientists that have put these books out, that have put these studies out, and they're like, hey, use my intelligence, use my studies, use it. It's good, it works. And then the state is telling me I can't say it. You can't share that information. Yeah, you could sell it. You could make some money. But you can't tell people what's gonna make them better. And I never really thought about what made me so depressed and what made me stop, because I dropped, like, you know, I know anybody who's out there who has a business knows, you know, $7,000 is not a lot of money to start a business. It's pretty low, you know. But I live in an apartment. My car is 2005. I have 2 children. $7,000 for me is a lot of money. And I dropped it all because my purpose on this earth is to help people. And I really didn't want to get into marijuana for the money. I wanted to help people. I don't really need to make money. You know, if I really want to make money, I could just be a stripper. I'm not that good looking, but I guess if I shook my butt, I probably could get a little bit of change, right? Like, there's easier ways in this world. Even as a nurse, I could just do striking hospitals. You know, if you work a hospital where the nurses are on a strike, you can make $1,000 a shift, maybe even more. I could just do that. I don't need to get into an industry where it's so fraught with dangers in order to make money. You know, the whole reason why marijuana opened up my eyes is because of the possibility, the ability that it had to help people and to lift people out of their pain and their depression, because they're being charged thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, more money than their house costs, to get health, and then they still don't have it. And I'm like, here it is in front of my face. And then the state is telling me I can't share that information, but I can give heroin derivatives to people and have them throw it up all over themselves and get them all addicted. I can give other medications that could just get them all effed up. I worked with a guy that had chemo-induced brain fog. Smart. Used to be charged as one of the top nurses, top hospitals in LA. Chemo just robbed him of his intellect, of his ability to function, of his ability to talk to people. There's another way. I'm sorry, it makes me so sad. It doesn't have to be like that. I've heard so many horror stories. And then I find, and this video probably will get flagged and taken down. You know, you guys don't understand. I'm a pretty tough person. I've been through a lot, which I don't like to get into. But in the last couple of years of my life, the pain that I've experienced has not been because of boyfriend or parents, you know. It's been pain at work. It's been people experiencing pain due to sickness and disease that I see every day, 12 hours a day. death and disease and death and disease and pain and tears and disease. It's hard. All I want to do is help people, and I just give heroin, turn people into addicts, and ship them off to surgery, or ship them off to oncologists, or ship them off to, cardiac surgeons. I don't feel any different than a drug dealer. And it's worse. It's worse because I grew up in the hood. And when my friends sold drugs, their life was over. But now I got a little certification and I can give the same drugs to people at the hospital for only the price of a car. Okay, not the price of a car. The actual drug probably only costs a couple $100s. I did not mean to cry on this video and get super emotional, but it's painful for me to talk about this, to see these things, to deal with these things, because I don't have access to a lot of great information. I got some stuff with religion that I found out that I think is great, and I don't really think people want to hear, and medicine, and that's what I got, and I can't so that's where I am. And I just wanted to kind of just get that off my chest and, share that information that I have. And if there is a certification, American Cannabis Nurses Association, and they actually have a class that you have to take, and afterwards you become certified. I am a part of the group because I bought the certification, never finished my class. That one was $100, so I'm sure you could imagine it's not as complex in scope as this other one. It's called like Canna Nurse, or I forget what it is, but there's another medical certification which is $1,000, and it's offered in California, and that one makes you able to give medical advice officially, legally. She's got the anyways, so I forget the name of her stuff. I if you want it, I'll put it in the comments in the box below. But the American Cannabis Nurses Association, most of those nurses don't stop studying, that I found. They get the certification, and that's the beginning. A lot of them go and work in dispensaries and work for specific companies, and they just never stop searching, and then they go back to school, and then some of them are majoring in these, or getting master's degrees in this stuff. So if you're looking for somebody to give you medical advice, there are doctors out here who are studying it, and there are nurses. You can look at the American Cannabis Nurses Association website, and I think they have like a listing of the nurses that will be practicing in your area. So I encourage you to look up those things. The information is out there for you. It's just, email your senator, email your representatives, because the way it is right now, if marijuana, came down and, unfolded a blanket of heaven in front of you, legally, I couldn't tell you that. So you need to contact your lawmaker, because something is not right. And, it's supposed to be about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and, being able to share the ability to have life comfortably in this country should be a part of your rights as a citizen. So that's it. That's all I had to share. Sorry for this long video, and bye.